team efficiency something that was being measured here?
No.
All right. Okay. But generally, after these things were implemented, did employees also seem happier?
Yes.
All right, perfect. And were you recognized for this in some way by maybe your manager or whatever?
Not really. It was just a thank you and that's it. Good job. There's no like
Mm-hmm.
we don't really do awards or anything at the job.
All right. So what about performance reviews? Do you have those?
Uh, I used to have them when I was in sales,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why one of the things my manager highlighted was and that's why I said I have a good sales experience and it actually makes me a good trainer is I used to be very good in sales in Southern California and like he would show me how where I would rank in the company.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why I have it saying that I was ranked third in the district, 22nd in North America, and top 40 globally
Mm-hmm.
as far as
Yeah, I
sales
saw
were
that.
concerned.
All
So
right.
that's something I just wanted to highlight just to show like, hey, look, I know how to do. I have a good background when it comes to sales, and they trusted me to be able to train employees to bring them up to standard on how to communicate with customers and how to bring in more sales. And by doing so,
Mm-hmm.
I was transferred to another role that my strengths were more utilized in and stronger in.
Mm-hmm. All right. And when you say that you were ranked third across the district, would you also happen to know how many other sales reps there were in the district, like a number?
Honestly, if I give you a number, it would just be like I would literally be bullshitting you. But I just know like third in the district is also considered third in Southern California, and that's like all the Tesla stores. So each store would have about 20 people. Then we're not talking about inside sales. So this is over 1,000 people plus.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's perfect. And top 40 globally. All right, that's pretty nice.
Yes.
And
So and as far as global sales teams go, that's about I know we have over about maybe 5,000 people doing sales.
mm-hmm.
So,
Perfect. And it says here that you recognized for the most influential orders at Tesla, right? Could you explain
yes.
what this means?
What this means is I was the person who would either get the customers in the door, and let's say I was too busy making an or placing an order and helping a customer place an order. Then what would
Mm-hmm.
happen is, and someone else I was assisting needed help, I would just transfer it to my colleague instead of worrying about commission or anything like that. I would transfer it to them. So my name would be attached to these orders, showing, hey, look, I had some kind of influence into this that help the customer buy. So it's pretty much, hey, I did all the work. Just get their credit card information or their bank information and sign them up.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So
Okay.
that's what it meant. Yeah. So it was just mainly showing that, hey, look, even though I was doing really well in sales, if sometimes if my numbers were low, you can look into this sector and it'll show that my name is attached on all these other orders that customers place through different sales reps.
Mm-hmm. All right. Perfect. And you said that you, because of your background in sales, you're good at training people, right? So did you also train sales employees? Were those 30 employees that we talked about earlier, were they salespeople?
Yes, I trained them as sales advisors, and then I
Mm-hmm.
trained about 10 of them for the delivery side as well. So
All
a delivery
right.
side, logistics side. So
All right. Okay. Um, right. Let me just go over my questions, see what I'm missing.
oh, and as far as those seasonal temp hires, even though
Mm-hmm.
I taught them like the logistics stuff, I would teach them a little bit of sales stuff as far as answering customer questions. Nothing to do with prices, mainly just reinforcing customers' concerns and making sure that they are comfortable with taking their vehicle.
Mm-hmm. All right. All right. So now, since you're also interested in human resource management, we've talked about training a little bit, but I also want to talk about whether you were able to, were you maybe handling something like benefits and employee resource programs or anything of the sort? I'm assuming that
No,
you weren't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
no. The only reason I showed human resources is because on my resume, it shows my education for I have bachelor's in communication studies, and
Mm-hmm.
then how I'm certified in mediation. That's the same year. It's 2017 as well. To answer your
All right.
question,
All right.
and the reason I thought I would be good in the human resources slash people operations side is whenever there's conflict, I can mediate the conflict between a few employees or management and employees to make it so that to clear misunderstandings and
Mm-hmm.
make sure that there's no like bad blood in between them. So that's why I feel like I'm very good in people operations, or I could be on the HR side as well, as far as helping people or helping the business grow and communicate effectively.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, these conflicts that you mentioned, can you maybe give me an example?
Mm, yeah. So, some of them would be miscommunication
Mm-hmm.
or someone else picking up someone else's workload and them not being as grateful, and then that builds up resentment, and then something small happens that where one of them messes up and then it just creates a huge argument. So it's easier
Mm-hmm.
just to sit them down and figure out their viewpoints of, hey, why do you feel this way? Why do you feel this way? Okay, so what can we do in the future to make sure this stuff doesn't happen? Is this really
Mm-hmm.
an issue that you two can not work out, or can you guys actually sit down, work this out, and see if you guys can continue working in the same room or the same team? Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Were you also balancing their workloads?
No, I did not balance their workloads. What I would do is instead make sure that they were able to properly communicate and ask for help so
All
that they
right. So you
didn't
were.
feel
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed or stressed.
All right. So you're basically bridging communication gaps, right?
Correct.
All right. Perfect. Let's see, right? So, you know how companies try to build like a specific culture, right? So I'm assuming that something of the sort also exists at Tesla. Were you advocating for that internally or something of the sort?
Never. No.
All right. And can you think of any instances here where you were using data analytics or data to generate maybe recommendations or something?
No.
All right. And hmm, let's see. Let me just go over my questions again. I'm sorry. Hmm.
No, take your time.
Right. Right. So, can you think of any other examples for maybe how you were able to reduce costs for the company in some way?
As far as cost cutting measures go, it's something we didn't really have control over. It's mainly just Elon saying, hey, look, this is the new policy, we're just doing this.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Like we
All
had a
right.
budget, but at the same time, our budget would get cut constantly to the point where it just got taken over by Elon and a few other people. Where it's like, all right, this is what you get. That's it. Let your
Mm-hmm.
manager deal with if needing to order, and they would get like a company card. They took the power away from everyone else.
Mm-hmm. All right. And can you think of any process gaps that you identified and corrected?
Can you rephrase that, please?
Like any maybe bottlenecks that were recurring that you were able to prevent from happening again or something of the sort?
Well, for example, on the logistics side, it was creating like a master list of people to contact, and then like the second and the third person to contact if they're not there. So, for example, remember how I was talking about those truck drivers, right?
Yeah.
And how they were dropping off a car. So one of the bottlenecks was communication on, hey, where this car is going to be dropped, or hey, we can't find this vehicle. So instead, it was just, hey, this is your point man here, point
Mm-hmm.
man at that location. Hey, you're going to put the vehicle here. Tell that person who's picking up the new vehicle, hey, it's right here. Keys are right here. Bada bing, bada boom. They're done. Just getting
Mm-hmm.
it out. So a lot of bottlenecks had to do with communication, and
Mm-hmm.
because it's a huge company and you're dealing with locations with people you have never met before.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's one thing. And hmm. Right. So can you think of any strategic initiatives that you supported?
Give me a second. One of them would be kind of where the truck drivers would have like my own personal, mine or one of my colleague Jono's personal cell phone numbers, and they would call us because they know we would get everything done for them.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of just like, because sometimes what happens is you either call the store, you try call the directory, and you get transferred to a different department that has no idea what's going on. So for our location, the drivers had our direct numbers.
Mm-hmm. All right. Hmm.
Like this
Let me
wasn't a
see.
company phone either. This was like our actual cell phone numbers.
I feel like you probably had like a really bad work-life balance in this role.
Yes,
Wasn't
I have almost no life, and I work about 50 to 60 hours, and then during end of quarter, for example, in 2 weeks, maybe close to like 140.
That's insane. That's
Yeah.
wow.
And it's just like even though I get promoted, I still have to do stuff from other roles. Like example, customers buying a car or picking up their vehicle and then find out, hey, their neighbor needs a car, or they were thinking about getting one for their kid or their significant other. Guess what? I had to set up all the sales paperwork for that and then transfer it over to the sales time and they just sign it. And that's the thing. After this recent this car accident, my body can't take because I normally get about close to 20,000 steps a day because I'm in
Mm-hmm.
and out of the office or going to different locations to making sure that everything's running smoothly. And right now, my doctor just said my body literally can't handle this.
Yeah, it sounds like too much, even for a completely healthy person. Even if you weren't post-accident, that just sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, so
All
that's
right.
why I need to find myself a desk job or something where